Good evening. It's Sunday and there's already somebody in the room. Don't know who yet. Let me guess. It's Maria. Yep, I guessed right. uh, yeah, I've been lazy. Waiting for search season to come up. Waiting for hey Big Whoopie. I don't really have a lot to talk about, but you know. So I titled this, what is the thrill of the chase? It's according to his the jacket, the book jacket. It's the thrill of a breathtaking discovery. And he's not talking about the treasure chests. It's not the quarry. The treasure is not the quarry. The treasure is the prize. It's the prize. It's not the quarry. Blue light. What blue light? Blue light. These are LED lighting in my RV. All the lights in my RV are LED. I haven't looked at any of those maps last time. Have them draws, yeah. Yeah, maps. Because you look at the maps all you want, but unless you're right in the right spot and see the stuff written on the canyon walls, is what's important. That's what the thrill of the chase is, that breathtaking discovery of something ancient that people have been looking for 1,000, 2,000 years or more. People have been looking for Atlantis, which, according to Discovery Channel, when Atlantis is discovered, it'll be the greatest discovery of all time. And that's why it was important for Forrest to do what he did with the treasure hunt, to try and get somebody out there to find it. Which he had already found, but being that a lot of archaeologists want to call it pareidolia, and it's not no, that's not what it is. Pareidolia can help you see it, but it's not something imaginary. No, it's not my imagination that there are people carved on the rocks. No, they're actually carved on the rocks. And it's 14,000, 13,000, 14,000 years old. So it's very eroded. And that's why people want to put, pareidolia, it wasn't carved in the last century, so it looks like shit right now, so we're going to call it pareidolia and call you a psychopath. No, that's not the way it is. IRS what? IRS can't do nothing. You can have that treasure until you make a dollar on that or a penny on that treasure chest. You don't know the IRS a damn thing. They ain't figured that out. They can't tax you on, you haven't earned any Federal Reserve notes off of it. It's only the value of the metals and things, the gems that are in it and all that. Those aren't Federal Reserve. There are no Federal Reserve notes in the treasure chest. The IRS can only tax you on your Federal Reserve notes. They can't tax you on other things you possess. That's property tax. That's not income. It's not income. It's your property. Income is Federal Reserve note income. Is whatever you want it to be. Yeah. Now, the thrill, it's according to Forrest in the front of the book, all that will be needed are the clues, some resolve, a little imagination, and maybe a six-pack to help celebrate the thrill of a breathtaking discovery. Now, we know the treasure chest exists somewhere, but that's not the breathtaking discovery. That's you know, if you know it's there, then it's not a discovery. What you don't know is there is the discovery, the ancient ruins and stuff. And that's why Doug Preston's book, The Codex, is about ancient ruins, ancient temples, lost. Nobody else knows about. It's not some place that you're going to find on a tourist map because it's not labeled as such. It's not labeled that these are ancient ruins. So, I don't even know what I'm doing on here tonight. What is about ancient? It is about ancient. It's biblical. I just watched a video tonight about the origins of Jesus. They didn't even have Jesus was a little blonde, curly-haired blonde kid initially in Christianity, and it wasn't until 1,000 years after Jesus was gone that they gave him a beard like Zeus and all that stuff, and Mary or his mother Mary and the with the baby and all that. That's a duplication of Isis holding the child, breastfeeding on Isis. Isis was the mother figure. Yeah, but the underground ones are hard to find. You try and find the underground ruins, it's pretty tough to do because there's thousands of places that look like they're an opening to a cave, and they're not. Hey, you got my shirt to match my hat. Yeah. Yeah, Captain Marvel and Chris and Darren and Boxhound and Whoopi and A&W. You got some root beer? Yeah, Togo's still in the freezer. Wednesday, I've taken him to the taxidermist. They could put him in their freezer. It's going to be 8 months to a year before they're finished with them, and that'll give me time that it's not so fresh, and I'll be able to handle seeing him on a perch, stuffed and looking pretty. They're filled with styrofoam, is what they got little. They're like styrofoam molds they put them on. Keep going back in time, my friend. The Greek word for cosmos, a discovery. Yeah. Well, all I've seen out there, it's like totally amazing, and it is biblical. It's the start of time, the birthplace of humanity, and all that. That this is where the the lost tribe they talk about. That's there was the Navajo and the Apache, and the white man came out of the earth here, according to the Hopi legend. And the white man went away, and they knew the white man would come back. And that's why there's a lot of figures here in North America with guys with beards, the mother with the child, the Madonnas, and still rinsing glue there. It's just a shell. Yeah, you can be philosophical and all that stuff, but the thing is, these runes are here. There's just too many of them, and there's too many details and too many stories that you can read from them for it to be something that's something. Oh, that's just a natural formation and it looks like that. That's horse shit. And my philosophy from now on, when any professional archaeologist that works for the government, Forest Service or whatever, archaeologist tells me that's pareidolia, I'm gonna say, you're blind as shit, aren't you? You think I'm stupid enough to believe that it's pareidolia? I'm not that. I'm not stupid enough to believe their BS. Writing a job, writing a job. Well, be the first to read it, have it, send it in 2 or 3 texts. Okay. How big a book is this? Like Forrest, I wasn't really into reading books, you know. The movies, the important literature was about the movies, not the books. They're a subtle hint to the book. The books are, you know, because all of those movies, all of those books that he mentioned, Catcher in the Rye, Farewell to Arms, For Whom the Bell Tolls, all starred Gary Cooper and he's from Helena, Montana. And it was in Sergeant York, and Sergeant York had the bullseye that's at the bottom of the V, the little point in the bottom of the V. Hear that merchant? What merchant? I don't know. Hey, Joe. Hope you had a good day. Oh, no, it wasn't a work day. So, yeah, you had to have a good day. Work week's tomorrow. But I made that video, put up last night, a bunch of my art. And that's just a small fraction of my art. I've made, if I got 10,000 images I've made from my pictures, then yeah, that's only 100, 150 pictures out of 10,000. That's hardly anything. Oh yeah, President's Day. He had another day off. But I'm sure them Cow and K-Profit and all that will be back tomorrow. Guess they took a break. Yeah. That's that was fun. I just dread going to court, you know. No, he's just a lawyer, Captain. He's a lawyer. He's not a judge. Joe's the judge. So Mesa Verde. I haven't been to Mesa Verde yet. Maybe this summer I'll go out there. But I'm going to do. I got this new drone, and I've tested it and took it up 840 feet up above my land here, and took a look around, and the drone was like, "Oh, it's windy up there," you know. Yeah. Everything I cannot see is eyes can see in my hands and touch is anything but me. To me, but real. Yeah, reality is a fantasy. The true reality is what we think of as fantasy. You create your world, and to get the treasure chest, you have to you have to manifest it. You have to believe in it. You have to believe that you're gonna get it and all that. You have to really believe it, because any doubts and phew, you know. Um, and then these things I found, it's like, like Forrest says, guided by the hand of God. The hand of God put me there at the right time to get those pictures or something. Is especially a picture of Moses, and it's winter solstice before sunset, and Moses pops out of the rocks in this dark crack in the between the rocks. It's not a dark crack; it's just in the shadows, and the Moses rock sticks out enough that the sun comes across the other rocks by it, are blocking the sunlight around him, so that it's all shadow around him, and the sun's hitting the Moses figure, and he's there with his arms out and parting the Rocky Mountains, showing the way to the Great Plains, like Thoth says in the Emerald Tablets. I in my robe of purple and gold and my crown of silver, raise my arms at the meeting place of the lords of the horizons of the east and the west. That's the continental divide. And open the treble gates and the gateway to the Great Plains. Or he says to the plains, but he's talking about the Great Plains. Because Plato says the plains of Atlantis were 10,000 stadia across. One stadia is 600 feet. So 600 feet times 10,000 is 6 million feet. And it's 1,200 miles approximately. about the size of the Great Plains. Yeah, I'm not. A lot of religions tell you, if you don't do this, you're condemned to hell. No, I don't condemn anybody except cows and K-Prophet, and those figures could have possibly come alive then, like they were telling the future. Well, Plato said this, 3,000 years ago. And it's a story that was 9,000 years before that. So some of the stuff he got a little messed up. He didn't understand. And when Plato said that Atlantis had lots of elephants, many elephants or whatever, plenty of grasses to feed them all. But what people, elephants, they think elephant. No, they were mammoths. I don't think in Plato's day that they had the mammoth. The term mammoth wasn't invented yet when Plato said that Atlantis had plenty of elephants, but because they were mammoths, and they say the old people hunted the mammoth to death and all that, and hunted them to extinction, and that's not really the case. Some people may have, but these people I've seen that they loved the mammoth, and that was their transportation. They didn't have the Ford F-250, They had small horses. You could put one or two people on a horse. You put your whole family on a mammoth. You could imagine the farming, plowing the field with a couple of Clydesdales. How about plowing the field with one mammoth? Just put a baby mammoth on a sled and he'll pull and rip three plows at a time. And Plato also said that Atlantis had a large rectangular valley that was surrounded by high mountains covered with crystals. And that's the San Luis Valley. I'm trying to get the stuff out of my eye. I almost stuck my finger in my nose. Triumphant over the darkness. What? What? Who you saying? What you saying? What to A&W? Mr. Root Beer? Have you metal detected for? Yeah, I've metal detected for, and I found that there's a lot of hot rocks in the area. I found black rock, and it just it says, but the rock's probably full of silver, you know. But he'd have to grind it up and smelt it and all that stuff. And so the discrimination on the metal detector, you gotta, it's really hard because there's so much there's silver and gold already in the soil, just tiny minute pieces of it that throw the metal detector off. And I got a good metal detector, and I just got it all charged up. So I plan on getting out there soon. I finally go see the sinus doctor this Wednesday. That's why I'm dropping Togo off on the way to that doctor appointment. Yeah, my nose has been in bad shape for last 6 months, and last 3 or 4 months it's been bloody, I say, in a British way. How long does your journey? Up here, it only lasts about 18 minutes because of the altitude. I was looking at, I can put DJI, I can put Mavic propellers on it that are an inch longer, and that might help me get more time. And the props will fold up, so it's easier to put my drone in my backpack. Hey, hiccups. back. Where? I'll be doing better after I get my sinus surgery. I've been doing a lot of sleep. Like yesterday, I slept most all day, and so I was up all night, and I made that video. And I've got another video I just made that I'm all I got left to do is put the titles on the beginning and the credits on the end, and because I do the videos, a slideshow of all the art, and I also doing videos, a slideshow of before I turn it into art, just the pictures of the rocks and stuff. Yeah, I've got that's my 4th video, I think, with a slideshow of the art. And this new one's all recent stuff. There's the old stuff is not, trying to show new stuff because I've got an unlimited supply. See, there's me with my fish, two fish, 2 big striped bass. Writing the playlist together. Yeah, I've got another YouTube channel I started. I haven't put any videos on it yet. It's for Galleria de Atlante. Good night. Who's going? You going? Good night, A&W. You must be drinking that hard root beer. Yeah, we used to go fishing with my dad. Probably at least once a month we go fishing. Get up before the sun comes up, and he'd have the boat up on the roof of the car, and the car all loaded up. People were talking about Forrest Fenn with the boat on the roof of the car, and you see in the picture, see the boat up on top of the car. I guess I can move that in closer to it. See the boat on top of the car? Get a little closer. Yeah, that's a 55 Chevy with a 14-foot aluminum boat on the roof. There's a wooden guy, Mr. Tree Stump. Put that there. Plug the power back in. Yeah, I had to put gas in the generator, turn the solar panel for the morning, all that before I start my video. Get everything running, get power on in here. We got the generator's running a lot better than it was 2 months ago. Part of the reason why is it's not below zero anymore. Still 41 degrees. When it's 41 degrees, one rip on that cord and it started. Yeah, 41. Watch your video. Finding Skippy's car. Very cool. Yeah. I got Skippy's cars right out in my shed. That's braving in the wood, because it was in the D of the word wood. The word wood, if you look down from an airplane, the word wood is cut out of the four. It's missing because the letters are the meadows, the 300-foot belly high grass meadows, and they're along the creek. And the word wood, big giant W and then OOD. The D is clear as heck. And what's in the D? A Model A. He prayed for D's, but if you're really good, you're going to get an A. To get an A, you got to find that Buffalo Cowboy car, which is a Model A. So to get an A in the thrill of the chase, you need that. But I think Moses is the blaze, and that he wanted somebody to find the archaeology too, and where I found the Buffalo Cowboy car, the Forest Fens Totem is a quarter mile, half a mile from there. Yeah, more like half a mile, I think. It feels like a mile when you walk it. But you have to walk across. I had to walk across the creek to get to where the Buffalo Cowboy car was. Either that, or I had to walk down from the road from up above and over some dangerous rocks that are piled up for the road, for the base of the road. And those rocks, if you ever, along the highway, and they got that big old pile of rocks that they put up to build up to put the highway on top, and these big bold, those things will when you climb down, they'll rock around, and it's dangerous. So you got to go where there's as little of them as possible to cross over. That Skippy's helicopter contraption was at the bottom of a big scree pile. 75 in here. I'm starting to sweat. It's 83 up here. I got a thermometer up on the shelf up above my head. It says 83.8, and the thermometer on my desk says 73.9. So it's 10 degrees difference in 2 feet. It gets up 80 degrees up here. I just turned my heater off. I turned the one heater off. I still got the electric heater under my desk going. I've been running one of that propane tank's gonna go, because I think I've been 4 days on this propane tank, and that tells me it's getting warmer, so I don't need as much heat. I think season might start a little early this year. Not near as much snow as last year, except northern Colorado. I mean, Colorado Springs and north of that got a lot more snow. Down here in southern Colorado, we didn't get as much snow. And Forrest has never called off searching in southern Colorado. Never. He's considered calling off New Mexico. He's called off, winter searching in Montana, Wyoming, and northern Colorado. Northern Colorado, he said. He didn't, Cowling heard Colorado, and so he included all of Colorado, not just north, because they want to eliminate Colorado from the chase, and that ain't gonna happen. And Forrest knows that as long as they have no idea that Colorado's the place, then they're lost and they'll never get it. But like I said, I got the Buffalo Cowboy car in my shed. Yeah, thanks, Jay. And after this season, I'm going to focus more on my art. I'm going to go out with my drone and get a bunch of shots I couldn't get with my, because you got to go to the other side of private property and stuff to get the shots. If I can get my drone to go up higher, I'll fly it up to the Gypsies. That'd be, because they're probably 1,500 feet up and above the road, way up there, across from the gate to Bootjack Ranch, where David Jennings Brown lived. And they're just way up in the sky. And I can only get my drone to go 850 feet higher. But there's apparently a something you can unlock the altitude lock. And if you unlock that altitude lock, I just watched a video, and the guy took a drone exactly like mine, took it up 5,770 feet. That's over a mile high. That's about 5,000 feet higher than I'm able to get it. Is that where you lost your pinpointer in the wood? My pinpointer's up Fox Creek. He's Foxtrot, So Fox Creek was I hiked up there, I think 3 times I hiked up that mountain. And it's about 600 feet, or maybe, 600 feet or so, 600, 700 above where I was camped. And there's a gully with the water coming down, and where I was sitting on that log is somewhere near where I was sitting on that log. And I thought it'd be cool I set up my camera and I went and sat on the log, and then I put the camera in the shadow of my head, and it turned my head into a glowing ball of light. Like the sunlight just engulfed my head was a bright orb, a blaze. and then you look up Omnificent Guru, and the Omnificent Guru is the guy with his head all lit up like that, and Forrest standing in front of his tapestry with the sun on it and his head right in front. It all matches. Boom, boom, boom. Yellowstone, the Yellowstone is a subtle hint. You got to find a substitute, like his father was trying to find substitutes, and because he mentioned the substitutes more than once in the book, at least twice he mentioned the substitutes. He had to go answer the phone because he was waiting for a substitute. The phone bell was ringing at the end of the hallway, for whom the bell tolls. And I found the hand ringing the bell. And there was a phone that BlackBerry phone next to it. No substitutes for the places. Okay. The story of Vietnam is part of the solution. And it's not in Vietnam. You got to find a substitute place, a place that reminds them of Vietnam, a place that reminds them of Texas and the school stories, something that reminds them of Miss Ford, something that reminds them of the Buffalo Cowboy car, the one in Montana or wherever it was. Something that reminds them of that waterfall in Vietnam. Yeah. Yeah, 5,280 feet. Yep. I had a piece of land in Oregon that was 5,200 feet. So I told people that my trees were a mile high because the top of the trees was another 80 feet up. So it was 5,280 feet at the top of the trees. But I'm about 2,500 feet higher than that here. Yeah. So yeah, there's substitute for Yellowstone caldera. There's a caldera here that's 6 times bigger than the Yellowstone caldera, except it's 75 million years extinct. It was the last time it went off was 75 million years ago. The Yellowstone went off 700,000 years ago. That's less than 1% of the time. This one here is all sealed up. It ain't going on. But I have seen earthquakes underneath Mount Blanca, and it's a volcano. But no swarm, no earthquake swarms. Yeah, pretty much. Forrest wanted it's in his will. He's holding on to it. You got to take it from his cold dead hands. He ain't giving it up. That's why he has a chapter on things I covet. That's in here. Right there. Right? The things in the middle of the book are important. The things I covet. And he goes into this, it's a paint palette. Do you see? You put your thumb through that, and it's an artist's paint palette where he mixes their paint. And then this Ben Stahl, you can find this Ben Stahl painting is represented right next to Treasure Falls. It's right next to Treasure Falls. But it's this painting is the girl laying on the pallet, and the boy climbing up to kiss her. The guy, and in nature it's the boy's laying on top and the girl's climbing up to kiss him. It's a mirror image. Forrest put a lot of smoke and mirrors into the chase. Cold dead hands, isn't that about good? Exactly. He says right here. Next page. Next page. Moses was an important figure. Moses is an important figure. If you can find Moses, his figure in the rocks, then you're an omnipotent guru, just like Leo Salazar. He says Leo Salazar spoke like some kind of omnipotent religious guru right here. Now, and then on Jenny Kyle's site, Forrest says success is an omnipotent guru. And that's what I was talking about. The thing, with the sun behind me and all that, I said, boom, you're the guru. and Forrest with the sun behind him on that tapestry. He says he's the guru. So if you're a guru like Forrest and Leo, you know, but Leo Salazar showed it to him. But if Moses is an important figure, Charlton Heston played Moses, and Charlton Heston says, "From my cold dead hands." Moses brought rules to the unruly. Yeah. Yeah, he said he destroyed threw him down and crushed him, right? And then the pieces were put in the Ark of the Covenant. But what he calls Moses, this guy, he looks just like the stone Moses up on the halfway up 1,000-foot karst. And what happened halfway up? His plane crashed into the 1,000-foot karst halfway up and made a huge fireball that he hoped wouldn't attract unwanted attention. A blaze, the fireball, that blaze halfway up the karst. And that's where Moses is. Stretch forth for the rod. Yeah. Yeah, it was that show I was watching. It said the early figures of Jesus, he had a staff, he had a scepter, like, or a wand, a magic wand, like the early Jesus, and so what people think of is it's that's a fantasy. That's all speculation and stuff. Nobody knows what he really looked like, but the old stuff said he had blonde curly hair. And excuse me. That's why I'm waiting to see the nose doctor. Arch, I think, is the energy source type. Yeah, watch A Farewell to Arms, the original, the 1932, I think it is. And Gary Cooper holding the girl's foot and her shoe, her high heel, and talking about the arch in her high heel. And do you know what architecture is? He says. And architecture is the oldest form of art. Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. Arch, ark, all ark. I had drafting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and an arch is an arc. Draw an arc. An arch is basically the same thing. I don't know. Covered up, maybe red brick and hammer drill. No. It went in The Thrill of the Chase, in the book, The Teachers with Ropes, and he says he has the do not touch in red letters and stuff. He's telling you, don't destroy these artifacts that you find out there. It's not hidden inside the rocks. Don't be an idiot and destroy something that's been there for 14,000 years until some idiot comes along with a hammer drill. It's not inside the rocks. At least get your metal detector and verify, yeah, it's not in there, Some people, it's got to be there. I'm not even going to do any tests or anything, and they destroy something that's been there for 14,000 years. And he says with Teachers with Ropes that you know better than to damage it. Touch it, don't damage it. Because you know better. There were places, I wanted to bust the rock, but I went with my metal detector and checked that first. And what's real nice with my new my metal detector that I've had for the last 2 years, it's got a remote. There's no wires to the coil, so I can be on top of the like Forrest Fenn's totem. I stood on top and I put the coil for the metal detector on a paracord, and I could drop it down, and scan the whole front of the face of that from right on top of the rock. I could just sit on top of the rock and pull that coil of the metal detector up and down, and I had my remote. I could tell and there's nothing in it. Um, and and the things are kind of crumbling. You know, some of the stuff is so old and all, you touch it and it falls apart. So just like that, there's no way that you put it together like that. But there's an afterlife. What are you doing there? There is an afterlife, but you got to live this life to the fullest. I know there's you can go there tonight if you want, jump off the bridge or whatever, but um, as long as well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, nothing really matters when you really know what it's all about. Nothing matters. So it's the now and the present that is what matters, because the past is a memory and the future isn't here. The only thing that matters is what's right now. Like Van Halen, right here, right now. Yeah, want somebody to ask. He's probably watching now. One of these other vloggers, Cal, Sasha, Jason, any of them. I dare you to ask Forrest what he thinks of my art. I dare you to ask Forrest what he thinks of my art, because Forrest hasn't made any public comments about me at all. He has made comments about people who are, say there's grenades in the box and stuff like that. Yes, the guy's nut job. But if you call somebody crazy, he's calling them the same thing he calls himself. And to know Forrest, you got to be the fan. Box down. What is eternity? Eternity, the supreme being or whatever, the mind of all of us. The supreme being. We all have God's mind. We all share the same mind. They can't figure out how our brain does what it does. It's because it's only a transmitter receiver connected to the universe. The universe is the brain. And God enjoys itself by living one life after another forever. It's eternal. It never ends. People that go commit suicide, they do. They probably done it 100 times. In other lives. Well, I'm done. Go on. Start over. It's like go ahead to go. Advance to whatever. Go straight to jail. Do not pass go. Yeah. I don't know if I got the picture. Where is it? I got my big monitor on. What was that? What were we talking about? Oh, Guru. Here. Right. Now. Oh, turn around. See here. See, this is the omnificent guru, right? And see, he's got a face on each side. Stuff. It's like a lot of the rocks that there's multiple faces on one face. And there's me, and there's Forrest. And that's a Shri Data Guru, omnipotent, omnificent, omnipresent, and omnificent. I had no idea that the camera was going to do that when I did that video. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Oh yeah, let's just zoom in. Fucking yeah. See, and what happened? What happened to my head? I'm just sitting on that log. I thought the camera could see me, and I got home and looked at the video. Yeah, he has one. The Omnificent Guru and the Omnificent Guru. That's a tapestry on his wall. And I'm sure that they positioned him just like that, just to get that effect. Yeah, he did that on purpose. That's artwork. This was unintentional. I did not intend for it to be like that. I probably wouldn't have recorded the video if I knew it was coming out that way. Bump, 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 bump. So I'm looking over at the pictures there, and nothing. That's food for thought. Thought, huh? Thought? That's like thawed. Thought. That's death is a doorway, man. Yeah, I don't know. I had an out of body experience at one time when I was 21 or 22, somewhere in there. I was laying on my side, and I closed my eyes. I just closed my eyes, try and go to sleep. And when I closed my eyes, I realized I could still see the wall in front of me, And it's like, something's weird here. And I got up on my elbow, and my elbow was extended down through my head. My ghost was coming out, and the feet came out in the middle of the body. The gut comes out last. The gut feeling and all that. Yeah. I didn't get to see the light. I could hear the TV in the other room, and I knew my father-in-law was out there watching TV. And so when I first came out, I'm floating up over the bed, and I'm waving my arms, going, look, I'm floating up here. Couldn't wake up a wife at the time. And of course I was, I should have seen, I'm still laying there and not thinking much of myself laying there in the bed next to her. But I could hear that TV in the other room. And so I said, well, nobody can see me here. I'm going to go to the other room, see if they can see me out there. And I went over, grabbed for the doorknob. My hand went through the doorknob, and all of a sudden I thought, oh shit, I'm a ghost, And all of a sudden I was back in my body. And this was like 1980, 81 or 82, 81, 82. No, it must have been 79 or 80. And Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say about it. I had to try and figure out what year it was. But oh yeah, so this was 81, 82, and then what, 1990 or whatever, the movie Ghost come out, and there's the hand going through the door. That's exactly what I did. My hand went right through the doorknob, and I'm a ghost, and it shocked me back into my body, and I got back, and my skin felt cold, and yeah, I had left and came back. And ever since then, death doesn't scare me. And I've always had the there's that guardian angel over your shoulder, watching for you when you're not, when your eyes aren't open, when you're not watching out, it's watching out for you. And yeah, once you've left your body, you know that you don't need it. But ever since then, the last 40 years, I've been, going with that. Yeah, yeah, and part of my solution, Forrest Fenn took it with him. If he took it with him, he went past the light at the end of the tunnel. And if you go through the tunnel, there's lights all along the roof, but there's one at the end. And you come out the other end of the tunnel, and it's on the other end of the tunnel. Yeah, we're spirits, that's for sure. We've been here before. It's like one day you'll be me, and one day I'll be you. Chris Merchant. We all have them. We're way more than our body. The body's just it's a creation of the mind, and the mind is the universe. I even have my own. I had a religious philosophy. I called it the Living Universe Spirit Temple. Living Universe, LU Spirit ST Temple, lust, and it's lust for life. It's a lust for life, and that was the meaning behind my lust. It wasn't sexual lust. It's just a lust for life. Don't go to heaven where the angels fly. Yeah, that movie, Robin Williams, What Dreams May Come. That's one of my favorite movies, because heaven is what you make it. And so is the earth. You are me, and we're together. See how they run. I am the walrus. Not yet, Gene. Finish. Oh, Eugene, Gene. Yeah. Somebody posed a cow and Capro with the rings on there. Those are, I don't think they got, those are just rings that were given to them by the guy that was making a fake bracelet. Won't come back till the 4th of July. Yeah, last year, because all the snow, his search season didn't really get going until almost 4th of July. Why do people hurt each other? Because they don't know. There's a lot of ignorant people on the planet. and I think even in the Bible and stuff, Not all of these people have the spirit in them. Some they got bad spirits. Anyways, planet they seen Earth. Yeah, the planet of the apes here. And yeah, you know, that's what I think Forrest wanted to see. He he admired his father for the number of people whose lives he influenced. You know, the what his father had, the influence he had put on these students of his that that made lifelong changes, or you know, formed the way what they became and all that. And Forrest wanted to influence as many lives as his father did, so he has this thrill of the chase. American Scholar. What's that? A TV show? Do you think speak Finn language well? And Forrest talks about, you know, he did a lot of daydreaming in school and stuff. You know, to think like Forrest, you had to be one of those kids that was daydreaming in school. Like me, I was sent to the school psychologist for daydreaming. They wanted to figure out what was wrong, what's wrong with it, or what, why is this guy like he is? They didn't know it was the dreams are that spirit in you. February 4th, yeah. Try wild. My sweetheart wanted to live in a shoebox. I got a picture of a motorcycle trike this woman had, and it was turned into a boot, and so there's two seats in the back, and there's the toe of the shoe in front of her, and it was like the old lady in the shoe, you know. And I got a picture of that motorcycle, and it was a woman driving it. Old Mother Hubbard. Why was her cupboards bare? Oh, yeah. I don't know what I'm getting hungry. Getting hungry. You got potato chips and corn chips. Yeah. Probably had a common life, in common, past life in common there, Joe. We might do a video this week. Oh, cool. That's on the news. Yeah. It's really rough with, you know, I knew my package of Eggos only had 3 Eggos left in it, and when I opened the freezer to get my Eggos, I opened it and I reached in and grabbed the Eggos, get it, close the door. I didn't want to see Togo laying there looking at me. He's in there with his eyes open. You know, what did the turkey do? That's an old parrot joke. Now I won't get another parrot because they live for 60 years, and I don't have, you know, maybe 20 or 30 tops, maybe. Well, you know, unless science can reverse aging, like they say they're real close to it, then I don't think I have 30 or 60. I definitely don't have 60 years left. So I'm not going to get a parrot that's going to live for 60 years. Maybe I'll get my grandkids one later on, but but yeah, it's hard, because I still uh, when I go over to let Jack in and out, I can hear Togo right behind me where his cage was next to the window by the door, and I swear I hear his cage rattling or things him moving around back there. And I think part of why Togo was, I think, is Jack is new, been around 3 years, and Togo been around for 17 years before that. And Jack gets a lot of attention because Jack is in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, constant attention. And I think Togo felt that he wasn't getting the attention Jack was, or something. Because I was like Togo's mate. he didn't have a girlfriend or nothing. Me and him were buddies for 20 years. He'd say, "I'll be back." Yeah. Yeah, and imagine that they come up with something like that in my lifetime. If they can, the Fountain of Youth pill. They say they've got the technology to make you 30 years old again. Thinking more about true meaning. Yeah, it's the thrill of the chase, the thrill of that breathtaking discovery. And when I went to the Jamie drawing, and we went to the Blue Corn after, and first thing Forrest tells me is, "You're going to get drunk tonight. You're going to do that 6-pack now." you know, Basically is what the cryptic message there was. And then him doing the hand of God symbol. And there was even a show I watched about Jesus today, and this is the hand of God, and this is if you touch the thumb to these fingers, it's the oh it means it means Jesus. It stands for JS and CT, Jesus Christ, is so the hand of God and the Jesus symbol are pretty much, the only difference is the thumb touches these fingers. Um, oh, I can get some really good sounds going with that stuff. And I like that band, that the Who from Mongolian rock band. They kick ass. They got these big fiddle like things, and they're boom, 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 and they're singing a war song. Yeah. Well, they say what was it? Noah was 900 years old. They didn't know that was in the days when the sun went around the earth. Once a day, the sun went around the earth. They didn't know what a year was. All they had, the Native Americans, they say many moons. Well, 900 moons is like 70 years. So Noah was 70. No big deal nowadays, but my dad didn't make it to 70. He made it to 67. But that was because Kaiser Hospital fucked up bad. Yeah. Um, I don't know if you know the movie Carousel, and I guess Forrest has mentioned the Carousel too. But when I asked my mother where my name came from, it came from the movie Carousel. And there's a song about Bill, be as strong and as tough as a tree. uh, nobody will dare to boss him or toss him around. You know, and that's basically me. I don't take BS from anybody. I'll change after the flood. And this stuff here is pre-flood. It's before the flood. That when the flood came, that was the end of the elephants. And there's elephants, mammoths in these figures, saying that the time when this was done was that when there were mammoths still here, which was at least 12,900 years ago. That's why I just say 13,000 years ago. Well, all this stuff they did up here took thousands of years to create, to do all of it. And it took thousands of years or millions of people to do it. Mastodons were before their time, way before. Mastodons were gone. It's the Columbian mammoth and the woolly mammoth, and the pygmy mammoth were around still 13,000 years ago. And imagine a Columbian mammoth's about twice the size of an African elephant. No, you can't destroy energy. you try to, and look what happens when you just try what they try and destroy an atom. It creates a lot more energy. Maybe they had lasers, machinery. What did I miss? I don't know what I talk about in the beginning. I don't remember. Man, animals do have a soul, but no spirit. So when they die, they stop exist. No, that's not true. Animals are the same spirit we do. That's why dogs will cry for mercy. Cry for help. What the spirit is, the universe. The universe is a mind. It's an electromagnetic brain, and everything is connected. Everything is interconnected. The rabbit hole, but I did find a rabbit in the hole of the D. The letter D. Pencil. Fucked up pencil, man. I don't know how this pencil got fucked up like that. I don't know. The pencil, the eraser is like a rock. It's so old and dry. But you got the letter D. And so there's the rabbit hole, the rabbit in the hole of the D. And is that backwards for you? It looks like a B because I'm using the facing me camera on my phone. But see, there I found before I found the Buffalo Cowboy car, I found a rabbit in the hole. That's going down the rabbit hole. It was a sign. It was it was amazing. You know, it was amazing that rabbit was about 200 feet from the Model A cowl that I found. The source of creation. It's a bee. Yeah, it's only because it's everything. You're looking at it backward. The camera on this side. If you watch the replay, it'll be a D. Because YouTube, after the live stream, they straighten the picture out, and it'll be a D. So in the replays, it's a D. In the live stream, it's that way because it's a mirror camera looking at me. All right. No, D should be a B for sure. Yeah, and if you use mirrors, your D will be a B. Force use smoke and mirrors. Yeah, to find the blaze. I know some rabbits. Brown is David Jennings Brown. Punish ourselves. Blaze, a substitute for something else than drugs. You know, a lot of people do drugs every day and don't realize it. Especially them people that go to Starbucks. Oh, you must be watching replay because it was a D. No, this is live. The problem, yeah, caffeine is a drug, you know, and it does, you know, it perks them up and it gets them all jittery and uppity and you know, inconsiderate and all kinds of, you know, it has other effects than waking you up. The home of brown. That's the home of black coffee. And really, Starbucks, I mean, once it's not black coffee, it's all the added. There's nothing special about Starbucks. When I was 21, I had a job. I was an electrician through the IBEW, local 617, out in San Francisco Bay Area, and I had a job. They sent me to the Folgers coffee plant to work for this electrical contractor, helping them. They were installing the line for the freeze dried coffee when freeze-dried coffee came out. And so we had to work, you know, in the Folgers coffee plant to get it done. Yeah, all the coffee you wanted. So, blow my nose before it. And it was 7 12-hour days. Yeah, 7 12-hour days. That's right, double time. But over 10 hours a day was triple time, and Sundays were triple time, and the holiday was quadruple time because you got your holiday pay and you got triple time. High fructose corn syrup. And so I was making $2,500 a week back then, and that was for us in 1988. And 1980, he was 58. Or no, yeah, he was 58 in 88, or 57, 58. He turned 58 in 88. And that's 3 years younger than I am now. Yep. In 1988, he was 58. I was born in 58. And 5 plus 8 is 13. 1 3. 1 3 is a magic number in numerology and all that. Thoth's number was 31. 13, the Masons in 13, the unlucky 13s. No, they Christianity considers 13 evil. No, the 13 is when the Knights Templars were all rounded up and killed on the 13th, Friday the 13th. Only 13 equals B. Yeah. Yeah. And my birthday can be three 13s, or 13, 31, 13. Clues can be bent as anybody wishes, but the truth is still the truth. Yeah. Monarcha. Monarcha. Captain Kidd got all the Templar treasure. No. They're supposed to be digging that up on Oak Island, remember? I think Captain Kidd dug down there. Good crowd. Yeah, 46. See if it gets over 50. People are figuring out. It's figured out, and it's really you can't go get that Buffalo Cowboy car, because I figure if that's the Braving in the Wood part, and I remove this from this meadow, nobody else can claim it. And so I went out there, and it had a couple of little side panels underneath that I took off, that was too heavy to even drag, whoever put it there, put it there on purpose, because the rest of the car is half a mile away. Of course, electrician I was talking to, I showed it to him. Oh yeah, the rest of that's up the hill along the power lines over here. The power line that goes up to the cell phone tower on top of the mountain. And I went up there. I couldn't see any sign of that car, but I wonder if it was still. So between when that guy seen it on the car up along the power lines, when he was working that power line route, and when I found it, somebody had taken it off of that car and put it in that meadow, in that D of the meadow, the meadows that write the word wood. And that's why people are thinking wood, trees, boxes, and all these different things, when it's just the word wood. Oak Island is so obvious. The one thing I saw about Oak Island was it watched this stuff on the Shakespeare Code, and the Shakespeare Code actually gives them a map for Oak Island and showed them some other spots on Oak Island that are important. And the Shakespeare Code has them triangles and triangle wedges that look like a 30-degree angle, drafting angle. I've got my drafting squares and all that. I got an A+ in architecture. Hey, Bill, fellow searchers. I saw that too. You saw what too? The other car? The rest of the Model A. And that Model A cowl, the Buffalo Cowboys car, is the same kind of car that his father is sitting on the back with the flat tire. He's sitting on the back, sitting on the banco, sitting on the back back of his car and stuff. So yeah, I was hoping it'd go up to 50, and it went down to 46. Templar might merge modern artifacts and spirit artifacts is some good. And something about the Templars and the Da Vinci Code and all that. The Da Vinci Code, and they show them guys laying in their tombs and in the floor of the churches in this cathedral or whatever in England, and there's William Marshall and Richard de Clare and those people laying. Those are my ancestors. My ancestors were the Knights Templars. I'm descended from William Marshall and Richard de Clare and the de Clare family. I'm descended from Christina de Bruce. That's Robert de Bruce's sister is my ancestor, and I'm descended from William the Conqueror, who's where my name comes from. But in ancient history, the name William comes from William the Conqueror and stuff. But and then my mother named me after that movie Carousel because he wanted a son named Bill, and my sister came first, so she didn't get to be Bill, and I was next, so I got the name Bill. Yeah, well, my initials are WMG, so if you want to change my middle name Michael for Marshall, I got those initials. But was it William Marshall? No, it was William the Conqueror. He was actually killed in battle, or he was wounded, injured, or whatever, and he was dying on the floor of his castle. He in the entry to his castle. They left him there dying, and they pillaged all his belongings and stuff, But William the Conqueror, he ran the Romans out of England, and that's that's what took England from Rome. The Romans never got into Scotland. It was beautiful. William of Orange. Yeah. And Lady Godiva is my 27th great grandmother. And a lot of people, Lady Godiva, the naked girl on the horse, the naked girl. Now you got that wrong. Lady Godiva was at least 60 years old when she did her ride. She was the wife of the tax collector, the Earl of Merrick, and he I imposed some tax or whatever, and she was protesting the taxes and and against her husband or whatever, and people were told it was they knew when she was going to do her naked ride, and there we hit 50. We had 50. 50 was up there for a second. But so all the townspeople were told to close their shutters and stuff when Lady Godiva was doing her ride, so that she could do it, without everybody watching. But one guy, he peeked out his windows, and he's known as Peeping Tom. There may be some peeping Toms in the chase. And what I've gone through the stuff in the middle of the Once Upon a While, the stuff in the middle, Things I Covet, and the mammoth tusk, digging up the mammoth. And it's things he covets. Let's see, we go through, and things he covets, things I covet, and then what's after Things I Covet? What's right after Things I Covet? Anybody know? I know. Moses, because Moses was an important figure. The figure of Moses. This is Leo Salazar said this is a perfect likeness. Leo Salazar told that this is a perfect likeness of the Moses up there, that Moses there, where Moses received the Ten Commandments. Leo Salazar is pointing to it and telling Forrest that's where Moses received the Ten Commandments, when he was showing him the Moses halfway up the 1,000-foot karst at the blaze. And how long was Moses in the ark? You got the wrong guy. Not me. I'm not the wrong guy to ask. Moses didn't have any. Moses, he put the tablets of the Ten Commandments in the ark. The Noah's ark was Noah. It wasn't Moses in the great flood. It was Noah in the great flood. And right here, I just took my thumb out of there because I wanted to. This Moses is modeled after that Moses. He's up there standing on a mammoth. See the mammoth in his trunk? He's standing on there. He's got 1 foot on his head and 1 foot on his back. And there are people here climbing on the side of the mammoth. There's people looking in. There's a vulture up here. Here's the Ten Commandments, the 2 tablets. And so Leo Salazar said that's where Moses received the Ten Commandments, as he carved a perfect likeness into the wood. And the wood didn't flinch. This is the Moses that Leo Salazar modeled the wooden Moses after. And he showed Forrest this Moses. And you only get that view of him at winter solstice. Yeah, when Forrest talks about renting a cabin or something, and if you rented it and isn't that your property, he's talking about renting a space in a vault at a museum where his treasure is safe and secure, and nobody's going to stumble on the treasure chest because it's actually he secreted it. It's a secret where the treasure chest is. The present search. Yep. Poem led me to the present search area. Particularly the line before the poem, that the poem will that leads to the end of his rainbow and the treasure. Okay. And leading you to the treasure, if it's a prize and he leads you to the things that wins you the prize, that's still leading to it. Anything that leads up to it. You know, if you won the treasure in a contest, then the poem still led you to the treasure. and like Blaise Pascal says, it's not the quarry, it's the chase. No, I don't want to go look it up. Exact quote. But it's the chase that you seek and not the quarry. So people are out there looking. They're not looking for the thrill of the chase. The thrill of the chase is that breathtaking discovery of Atlantis or the remains of Atlantis and stuff. That's the breathtaking discovery. Yeah, I'm in the quarry. It's a big quarry. That's why I can talk about some of the, like the stuff next to Treasure Falls and Browns Ranch. Forrest said anybody only deserves 2.086 acres of federal land, and Brown had 3,500 acres of national forest, and it's a very pristine, beautiful national forest part that he has. That valley there below that whole valley there around Treasure Falls, below Wolf Creek Pass and all that. That was David Jennings Brown's property, and he was a major construction. He built Intel and Hewlett Packard, Intel, Varian, National Semiconductor. He was the commercial contractor that had all those jobs, and I even probably worked on some of his jobs because I worked on Intel Fabs 6 through 9 on the temperature controls for where they made the microchips for Intel. And I worked at another Intel place assembling. In 1978, I was building 12-inch floppy drives. That's the size of an LP floppy drive. It's not like the 5 1/4 that you know, or the 3 1/2. It's a big old 12-inch floppy drives. In 78, computers weren't that advanced yet. Wildcat's daughter. Yeah. I'm a duck. I went to the University of Oregon. and we played against Joe's Irish, fighting Irish. Oregon played Notre Dame, and Oregon blew it. Oregon blew it when they played Notre Dame and lost it. They shouldn't have lost it. I was going to University of Oregon when that happened, 2011, 2012. Championship game, and they blew it. They won every game except the championship. Yeah. I'm you know the Irish. Have you done the DNA test, National Geographic DNA test, Joe? Because my National Geographic test told me that I have Ramses and King Tut blood. Ramses was a redhead, and National Geographic matched me with King Tut and Ramses. Ramses was a redhead, and then I find other stories that Ramses, and they were run out of Egypt basically, and they took a ship and they went up and hid. They went up to Ireland, Scotland, and that's where the pharaohs went, up there, the kind of lost tribe thing, and that's why there's a lot of redheads and stuff in Scotland, Ireland. You see, because if you do the National Geographic test, they're going to tell you that you're related to Ramses and King Tut. It's like 80-something% of Irish people have DNA of King Tut and Ramses, and only like 2% of Egyptians do. So what you call Egyptian people aren't real Egyptians. They're people that invaded and took over after they threw out the redheads. You know? And the stories of Jesus was a blonde even. I was kind of blonde hair when I was a kid. But... oh, mirrors. My mustache I had a red mustache. My mother was a redhead. But it says my King Tut and Egyptian ancestors are on my dad's side because the National Geographic does the maternal and the paternal. And one thing, you know, I see, you know, about the Pocahontas, what's her name, the politician, and her DNA test came back that she didn't have any Native American, or it was one 1,000th chance. Well, there's a flaw in that. The flaw is they do the maternal and the paternal. So when they test your mother's side, all of the ancestors they show are only the women, the mother. The mother's father's side you don't see. You don't see any of those results. The mother's father's side, the grandmother's father's side, because you can only follow that female line of DNA on the mitochondrial, but the paternal and the paternal side, it only follows the father. You know, so like my Native American stuff is on my dad's mother's side, but the DNA test can't test without my dad's DNA. I don't know his mother's side. Yeah, mitochondrial is only mother. So your mother's father doesn't show up in your mother's DNA. You know, so your maternal and paternal only show up for the person that's being tested. The fathers, it's just father. You know, none of the branches of the wives of the father's side, none of them are included in your paternal DNA. So the Native American, my dad's mother, who was a quarter Cherokee, she was descended from Pathkiller, Chief Pathkiller. What a name. He was known as the last great king of the Cherokees, and his grave is in Georgia or North Carolina or something. And he's got a headstone and a footstone and a big slab on top, you know. And not gonna happen. What's not gonna happen? Pandora's box. Yeah, that's what he's mentioning. Pandora's box is because everybody's been wanting to know, what's Atlantis? Where's Atlantis? Nobody's found Atlantis yet. Where's Atlantis? You know, and they debunked all them places in the Mediterranean because they didn't have elephants. They can't debunk this because I got elephants. And really, my dad's mother's side, there's Native. I showed somebody a picture of my third great grandfather, John Hogan, who was from some tribe up in Nova Scotia or whatever, you know, and oh man, he's Native. He looks like Pequot on Moby Dick, you know. He's got that same big nose, and you know, I said, yeah, some Indians that got a big nose like they're got Roman in them. Yeah, it's because the Romans and the Minoans were over here mining gold. They got gold, or copper. They were copper mines up in Wisconsin, northern Michigan, Wisconsin. The copper mines, Minoans. They found Minoan tablets in America, and there are a lot of Native American alphabet, the characters are just like the Hebrew letters and stuff, and Minoan stuff, you know. And it's saying the lost tribe came from the Americas. Thoth claims to have in the Emerald Tablets. Thoth says that after Atlantis was destroyed, he went and built the pyramids. The clump of a boot. Yeah, the clump of a boot. What, is that when you die and your foot hits the ground? Whatever. He gave away the first when it was officially hidden. Yeah. And he said, look, it's not in my safe. It's not in my safe. Well, how do we know it's not under his bed? Yeah. Ismael. It's better than being called insane. Scotia. The Scotia is where the Egyptians maybe. And they say, well, they came across the land bridge, but from Asia over. No, because when you look at back in the Ice Age, that England was connected to Europe. You could walk from London to Frankfurt. Might have to swim across some rivers, but that was Doggerland between England and the Netherlands. If you look on Google Earth, that water, all that water between England and the Netherlands is no more than 250 feet deep. And pre-flood, the sea level has rose about 300 feet. So all of that land, all of that under the Black Sea was land during that time. And the land almost, there was very little sea between England and Greenland and stuff. And if it was all iced over in the Ice Age, they could have walked over the ice to get to America. And none of the academics want to admit that. They got to say, oh, we got to stick to the Asian story. Yeah. The Native Americans don't test positive for any Asian blood, hardly. They try and tie it to Siberia, and they go over to Siberia and say, no, these people don't have that DNA, and they don't have the arrowhead technology and stuff. That arrowhead technology came from Europe. I'm gonna end this before 2 hours. I can't keep going. I always thought maybe it was hid the chest when I was younger. The poem says, "My trove for all to seek." The poem does not say, "My treasure chest for all to seek." It says, "Hint of riches old and new." And archaeology, ancient archaeology is ancient riches, ancient treasures, these treasures of ancient archaeology on the canyon walls. How many times fairs? Yeah. I went to a psychic in Cassadaga in Florida, and they told me that I had a lot of Indian, my Indian name. I had a lot of Native American lives with bear names. I was a bear something, bear this, bear that. He did say a clump of the boot, though. Yeah, you got to look up that. What's a boot? And then you got to think, what makes the clump the soul of the boot? And so I'd have to look up the clump of the boot more and figure out what else that has ties to. But it's all the poem as above, so below. First stanza starts with as, last two stanzas start with so. As above, so below. As above, so below started with Thoth, who is actually the Moses figure, is actually Thoth at the treble gates, showing the way over the mountain, the Southwest Passage, like Lewis and Clark, or the Northwest Passage. This is the Southwest Passage, a substitute, the Southwest Passage. And I'd like to. I look at I'm studying this cliff where Moses is, and there are ways you'd have to climb up and then come down, and there are ways to get there without climbing down cliffs. There are passages and terraces and ramps but it's a maze to kind of get there. But I expect within a month I'm gonna fly my drone up there to about 10 feet away from Moses and get a close-up picture of him. Except this picture I have of him is pretty good. You got these hiccups gasping for two objects did Forrest give you to put in your back pockets? Your hands? Yeah, I don't know what he... Gummy bears cure hiccups. Oh, where'd my gummy bears go? So does a spoon of sugar. It's about the same thing, I guess. His gummy bears just like pure sugar. There we go. That big bag of gummy bears I bought last year. Yeah, and I found where'd it go? My knife. My Puebloan multi-tool. This is for skinning arrows. For taking you scrape your arrows and make them round. Take all the bark off your arrows, and this is the axe end. You chop with it. That's the knife end and the scraper, so you can cut and you can scrape, skin your hides with it. But Forrest told me this is 1,400, 600 years old. So, and I just found it laying on the ground. Oh, that's unusual. That looks like it's been worked. And you can see where it's been flaked all along there. Has a sharp edge. This side is just natural, flat. But and this could be a big chip off of some other. Yeah, that's a good size tool. It's not a little arrowhead, It's my pocket knife. Is only onyx. This is basalt. Forrest says it's basalt. It looks like basalt. And This is my meteorite. This thing's it's as heavy as a piece of gold, and you can see the iron in it, the iron content for the rust. But and there's one chip on it right here that I made that chip, and it was the way you flake an arrowhead, and you can see I just knocked that flake right off of there, and I wanted to see what the inside was like. I should have kept the chip that I took off to send it to a lab. Lady of G. Yeah, I'm Bill G. So I've kind of burned myself out on stuff to talk about. I don't want to waste everybody's time, but magnetic. Oh, it's not. Yeah, it is magnetic. Where's the magnet? Right here. Got a magnet right there. And I seen some little flakes on it look like gold. Yeah. See, it's a meteorite. Wonder what my metal detector says it is. It's probably hot, at least. It's a hot rock. And you see if I put it on this basalt. Oh, did it stick to the basalt? Almost. Oop, just dropped it. It'll stick to something. Oh, well. Yep. All right. Take it easy, Whoopi. I'm going to the nose doctor out your way. I probably have time to stop by after the doctor because Chris is working. Yeah, I got Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm dropping Togo off at the taxidermist and then going to the doctor up there in P-Town. I think 1 o'clock appointment. So, and I hope that my sinus surgery isn't too far off from that date. All right. These J.A. and Captain Marvel and Chris and 40 other people. Gene. I'm blocked on the Forest Fen group on Facebook because somebody running it or something is one of the bigots that don't like me. Yep. All right. Y'all take it easy. And thanks for watching. I'm going to fix me something to eat. And since I got my corn chips here, I got hamburger meat, I think I'm going to have me a taco salad. Have a good one. We'll see ya. Adios.